Queen Lagertha, I bring wonderful news. The great army led by your son, Bjorn Ironside, succeeded in avenging the death of Ragnar Lothbrok.
Vikings Season 5 is almost here, and this season will be the first test that history has of trying to carry a season without the influence of Ragnar. Season 4 was carried purely on the back of the consequences of Ragnar's death. But now the show has this new opening where they can explore the characters and their history rather than peddling through what Ragnar has built for them. It'll be time for Ivar to really show his history and make his mark rather than redeeming the final act of Ragnar's. So let's have a look at what Vikings has in store for us for the coming season.
I'm not afraid to die for my faith. Most noble king, by God's grace.
My lord bishop.
We've heard many reports of your prowess with arms.
We are the wrath of God. In the name of God, who is both vengeful and merciful, I swear I will make these pagans pay for their cruelty.
To start off, Vikings introduced a new character, this guy, Bishop Heahmund. This guy's role was going to be like the more badass version of the High Sparrow from Game of Thrones, who George R. R. Martin based off the Crusaders and the Knights Templar, both of whom came a lot later in history. So he would be a foreshadowing or precursor to those groups much later in history. It's very clear that Vikings are trying to make him this backlash or counterweight to the huge force and oppression that the Vikings and Ivar bring to England. And as he seems to be more allegiant to the king and the crown as well as religion, it will more likely that he's going to be one leading a lot of the battles and fighting and conflict we see over this season rather than Aethelwood himself. Regardless, when we look at Game of Thrones and history, and we see this mixture between the church, religion, and war, it never ends well. You leave with dogmatic, extremely powerful soldiers who will cause much havoc for not only the Lothbroks, but everyone in England.
You are no longer my brother.
We have defeated the Saxons. It is time to negotiate.
And that is the wrong advice as always, Ube.
So now we turn to the Lothbrok brothers, who will definitely be the main focus of Vikings going into this season. And the animosity between Ivar and Uwe will continue to grow from season 4, but most likely won't come to a head until later into the season. At the moment, Ivar is constructing his principles, planning out what actions he wants to take, who he can trust, and how he wants to consolidate his fame. And clearly this path will lead him at odds with Uwe, who has that more curious collaboration side to him. If he can work together with someone to produce something better, he will try that route. When you back him to a corner, he will get really ruthless though. So we may see the Lothbrok brothers and the armies they command have to choose a side. To speculate a bit, I think Uwe might stay more in Kattegat and Norway rather than in England, where Ivar would be more thriving and fighting. But regardless of where this goes, everything is going to be on a grand scale. So we're definitely going to get this parley scene between Ivar and Uwe. They're surrounded by their flags on each side, symbolizing they've probably got their armies or hosts nearby, willing to go into a fight if these negotiations go sour. If Ivar's showing us, and he's probably using this opportunity more to bully and harass Uwe than actually talk about any negotiations of them deflating the situation, which would be really cool because that's classic Ivar. Though it's possible person could be Lagertha, which would be quite inflaming to Ivar in this conversation. She did kill his mother and take their seat of power and all that, leaves a sour spot, especially in the quite aggressive type. Now this shot here could be showing us the girl that we saw Bjorn staring at way back when he attacked Spain in the previous season. A relationship between Bjorn and this character would be a really good way for them to show the culture around Spain. The people that they've brought in and the captors they have will really be an interest to Bjorn because he'll be curious in their lifestyle, their gods and everything. It'll be a really strange and weird experience. Plus there's a lot of potential for this to be quite a nice relationship with Bjorn because we know he has a lot of drama and problems in that sphere. So it will be another hurdle for him to try and get over. And clearly the show will be going with more themes of love and relationships throughout the season, not just with Bjorn, as they've always done throughout the show, because it's really interesting to see how those dynamics always fit into this really high-paced, strange, and exciting time. Thanks for watching. It'd be really great if you guys subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated to all the Viking videos I put out for this new season. It should be really fun, and I can't wait to see you guys there.